All right. Hey there. Good morning. It is straight up 10 a.m. It is time for Ben at 10 live from the back deck this morning. It is a Friday, which we often do here from the back deck. Obviously, very quiet weather conditions that we have in store for us across the region as we take a look here at the radar and satellite. Look at how quiet it is all throughout the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, all throughout really the eastern United States. There is not a whole lot going on here as we are in the basically the dog days of summer. So thanks if you're tuning in to the live program here this morning. It is Extol Weather, Extol Media, and Extol means to highly celebrate, to highly praise, and that's what we do here in Southern Indiana with our weather and nature show every morning, and also Southern Indiana and beyond as well. So if you're tuning in, let us know where you're dropping in from in the comments. Let me know if you have any weather questions, whatever you want to talk about here. It is your weather conversation. So this is Ben at 10, and it is Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. And you can find our show on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking or subscribing, and extolmag.com/weather. So the weather we had yesterday is basically what we have through the weekend and into early next week. We might see a little bit of a change by the middle of next week. As always, we are going to be digging into the weather models. Since the weather's really quiet for now, we will have our weather segment that we do every day as well, which is this. The Ben on a Limb segment. So cheers. If you're on the back deck or you're at work or the front porch, whatever you're doing, I've got the Bliss cup here. Time for a little bit of that morning coffee. So as we wait for a few folks to get on board, I'm going to embarrass myself. And I'm only going to do this because we're going to talk about what's happening this weekend. There's actually some good shows this weekend. We live in an awesome area. We're a big enough city community that we get great events, but usually the traffic isn't too horrible like bigger cities. But here's a little ditty that I've been fooling around with lately. Ooh, bad notes there. Anyway. So just brought the old guitar out to tell you that there's actually some good shows this weekend. The Rumors are playing at the Doghouse Beer Garden. The Rumors. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they are a very fun, highly talented band. And then we've got the Remainders at Huber's this evening. And then Saturday, I believe, at the Mercury Ballroom, there is like grunge night. So there's a band that's going to cover like Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains. So if you grew up as a Gen Xer like me with the grunge in the 90s, Saturday might be a good show for you. But again, We got rumors at Doghouse Beer Garden, remainders at Huber's. And also, we got Bats in town, Bats baseball. Lou City FC has a match. So luckily, the weather is going to be nice, especially if you like summertime. And of course, this is a weather show, so we're going to talk a lot about weather. I've also got a little bit of a nature segment that we're going to talk about as well. We might talk a little bit about cicadas. I've learned something new this morning about cicadas and armadillos. So we might talk about both here this morning. All right. So we've got tuning in here on this Friday. Happy Friday, by the way, August the 8th, from Borden, Indiana. Beverly Haggis, I don't know how you do it. You pop in first every time. We've got B Local 502 from Fern Creek. Oh, Connie Leonard. That's so nice to say talented. But I like to dabble a little bit. Thanks for tuning in here this morning. Connie, Lily, and Lasley, good morning. I am not going to sing. That is not where the talent lies. That would be embarrassing and brutal. Anita Meredith, thanks for tuning in here this morning. Bill Gleason, just up the road, up Highway 60, up in Salem, Indiana. Thanks for watching up there this morning. And again, we've got really quiet conditions as we look at the radar and satellite. It is the dog days of summer. Sometimes it's called the summer doldrums, just meaning the weather pattern is what it is. There's no jet stream. There's no storm systems. There really is nothing to change up the weather pattern. So if you want to go, I mean, you could do the meteorologist thing right here with me. You can go to fallsoftheohio.org. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a river level link, and then it brings up this full screen camera. So if you watch the show, we always like to take a look at this. And Charlotte Wilson, good morning, loving this weather. What I like about it, Charlotte, it's not a heat wave. It's just kind of normal heat. Yeah, it gets hot in the afternoon, but at least the dew points, which is the main factor in the summertime, the dew points that measure water content in the air is in the 60s, not the 70s. So at least like in the evening time, it can kind of cool down. I remember Friday? Yeah, I think so. We saw Juicebox Heroes at the Enchanted Forest in New Albany, and the dew points were like 80 degrees. It was just sweat, nonstop sweat. Dan Farmer, amazing performer, was up there. I don't know how he got through that performance. It was just crazy. But again, this week, it's not crazy humidity out there. Tammy Morton, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. And also Judy Hoyer, good morning. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend there from Bradford, just up the hill a little ways as well. I've passed through Bradford many times. I used to be a golf coach at Borden High School, and we would drive through Bradford to head to like Crawford County and head back through Bradford. And we've got Orlean Whitlow. Like that, you're going out on a limb. We need to go out on a limb sometimes to see what is happening across the area. So again, there's that live look. And then if you ever want to go here to extolmag.com/weather, you can find our live stream up there. And then if you go down a little bit, you're going to find a lot of other weather resources for our area. This time of the year, the severe weather season is really up towards the upper Midwest, the upper plains. And there's, if you look at those maps in the upper left-hand corner, that's where it shows slight risk of severe storms way up in like Minnesota, Wisconsin. So not over our area. And the only reason why I'll break out the full screen interactive radar here is just take a look at the temperatures, which really aren't too bad. And actually, like just a little bit cooler. Oop, I see a mosquito. Get out of here. All right, so just a little bit cooler than they were yesterday. Yesterday, I think we're at 83, 84 around the area. So maybe like a degree or two cooler than, and that's because we had a clear sky overnight and we were allowed to cool down a little bit more. Really no breeze, very light winds today, light from the southeast. So just very calm conditions for the entire area. So again, that is a look at some of the resources that you have for you anytime you want at extolmag.com/weather. Shout out to our partners here. And of course, we can't do this without them. And 100% we can't do this without you being here. So thanks for watching the show. LionsRoofingCo.com. This is Lions Roofing, Lyons, out of Memphis, Indiana. Again, just up the road here, up I-65, the exit 16, I believe. So that they're going to be protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. You can go here to the page and get a free estimate. They've got you covered on the Indiana side, on the Kentucky side, commercial or residential, any kind of roof. 812-294-3595. Give them a shout. And I say it all the time. They work, of course, with insurance companies. If you get roof damage or whatever, get your quote here from Michael Long, 812-578-3072 with AmFam, American Family Insurance. If you go to amfam.com, put in Michael Long, you're going to see that he has 163 reviews. You don't see that many reviews really on any business very often, and 5 stars all over the place. So proud to be an American Star certified agency. Excellence in customer experience, gives back to the community. So whatever you might want covered, tell them I sent you. I highly recommend Michael Long here, 812-578-3072. And then Libs Paving, LIBS.com. And the main thing here with Libs Paving, they're the top asphalt paving contractor. They do big city jobs, commercial jobs, schools, hospitals, all that stuff. But they've got a lot of opportunities for you or maybe your family member. You can head over here and apply for a position. They've got project managers, superintendent jobs, a lot of different job opportunities here at libspaving.com. You can level up your career, by the way, at IB Tech. We were live out there yesterday. Really nice morning out there on the Sellersburg campus. That is exit 9 miles north of Louisville. And if you go to ivtech.edu, go to locations, go to Sellersburg, that's going to put you on our local page here. You belong here. You can also register for Tuesdays at the Tech, get one-on-one information. They've got an amazing administration and staff there that will help you out so much. So they've got 42 and counting programs offered. Baptist Health Urgent Care Centers building a center there. So they're just expanding and growing. Fall sessions, August 25th. So that is coming up. And if you click on the Ivy Experience, then you can just get more information about all of what's happening there. Get the dual credit. My kids have been in the dual credit. It saves you thousands and thousands of dollars. If you have a child that is maybe a sophomore, junior, senior in high school, I can't recommend that enough to get in the dual credit program that is offered throughout Southern Indiana. So check them out. So thanks again to our partners out there. Seeing a few more comments popping in. We've got Laverne Bannett from the Knobs up there, where there are lots of Bannets. I know some of the Bannets up there, and it's going to be a fun time up on the hill because, as I mentioned earlier, the Remainders will be playing at Huber's this evening. Perry Porter watching all the way up from Lafayette, Indiana, where there have been armadillo sightings all the way up in Lafayette, Indiana. And Kay Vandersdale, thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday to you, TGIF. Thanks again for dropping in the comments and letting us know where you are watching from. And again, a reminder, too, if you ever want to partner up and let's be your megaphone in Southern Indiana and beyond, or if you just have a weather question, you can send it to me, Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com. If you want to learn more about what we offer here as far as advertising and marketing solutions, you can reach us right there, Extol Weather, Extol Media, and we're reaching hundreds of thousands of views, over 1 million views, in fact, month by month. So we can definitely help you out if you are interested in that. So I did show this yesterday, but I'm showing it again today because I'm learning something new. And again, we're getting to your forecast portion of the show. Usually around 10:20, we'll start to dig into the weather model data. So this is a cicada, obviously. What I've learned is that the periodic cicadas, like that brood XIV that was all over Kentucky and a few counties in Southern Indiana, they're long gone. So those were the ones that came out in May and then said see you later in June. So they did their reproductive cycle. They laid their eggs, and then when they hatch, they go underground for like 17 years. They're gone. But now we've got the regular annual cicadas. So I took a picture of this one 2 days ago, and you can hear them. There's also the katydids that are around. But so these come out every summer, and the population's fluctuate, but these are called like the dog days cicadas. So they'll be out through August. So that was something new that I learned today because I was kind of curious about that. You got the periodic cicadas, May, June, they're gone. And then you got your regular summer cicadas. And then check this out. This is the Indiana armadillos. I knew that, Kentucky had some armadillos, but they've been, I don't know how in the world they crossed the river, but they have been. And now they are not only here, they are reproducing and they're making colonies. They're colonizing Indiana. And so they've been spotted in Marion County. So that's up in Indianapolis. They've been spotted all the way up in Lafayette, Indiana. And so the U.S. Geological Survey, you can see here, let's say the southwestern half of Indiana now has populations of armadillos. And what I also learned was that the armadillo is closely related to anteaters. I guess they kind of look like an anteater. But so there's your nature segment of the day, something that I learned about. I don't know. Have you ever seen one on the side of a road? That's the sad part. Usually the only time you see them is like a roadkill on the side of the road. So today, here's a look at the soil moisture. So it still looks okay for Kentucky in the southern half of Indiana, northern Indiana, and Michigan heading into drought conditions. Parts of those areas around Chicago, southwestern Michigan, already under a D1, drought 1 status. But our area is going to be drying out too. We don't want to get into flash drought, which means the corn is just evaporating all the moisture. The soybeans are evaporating all the moisture. The hot August sunshine evaporates all the moisture. So not seeing much of a rain chance here through early next week. By the middle of next week, as we look at the long range data, we might start to see a little better chance of some rain, but very quiet and, not atypical for this time of the year, kind of typical for this time of the year. And how many days? So I posted this on Facebook yesterday just to give us some perspective of where we're at here. So our 7:59 sunsets before 8 p.m. sunsets begin in just about a month. And then autumn, the autumnal equinox, when the sun's direct rays are over the equator, and the equinox means equal day, equal night, that's going to be 47 days away. So about a month and a half. Halloween, 84 days. And we've had sleet. We've had a little flurry activity on Halloween before. And then our 5:42 sunsets at 86 days away. And Vicky Berger popping in with a good start to the weekend. Hello to you. Thanks for tuning in. And Desi just opened the door, so I need to close it. I'll be right back. We have one dog that knows how to open a door, and that would be Desi, of course. All right, moving along to the forecast here. So our weather headlines for your August 8th. We've got normal August heat, so we're going to be hovering near 90 degrees this weekend through next week. Mostly dry weather pattern as well. I would give it, if we can get some cumulus clouds to develop this afternoon, a 5% maybe chance. So most of us are not going to get that rain chance. Beverly, I'll be checking those messages. I haven't checked them here recently. Want to get in on that sweet corn. And then maybe some changes next week. Not big changes, but maybe a little more humidity, meaning we might get a little better chance of a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. So that play ball forecast for today, 85 at noon, 90 this afternoon, 83 at 8 p.m. Some of the city areas might be around 91, 92. Of course, with all the concrete and the asphalt, might be a little bit hotter. Humidity not out of control. And the wind from the southeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So mostly sunny day out there. And that means the UV index is going to be very high at a level 9. So grab some of that sunscreen if you're going to be out there. My son, Brady, has tennis after high school every day. And he has not been wearing a shirt. And you can tell by the sunburn on the shoulders. He is not very good at protecting himself from the sun. 71 degrees, our low for tonight. Warm summer night. Just a very, very light breeze. Going to be a nice Friday night for you. And if you're lucky enough to be by the lake or the pool or the river or just in the AC. That's going to be a good spot to be. Here's your forecast for your Saturday, August the 9th. Low 70s out the door, 87 at noon, 91 for that afternoon high. Going to try to do some fishing tomorrow. I've got my dad and my stepmom Diana coming in town, so we're going to try to maybe just make it a backyard kind of day around the pond. See if we can get some bluegill. 7-day forecast, 91 Saturday and Sunday, about the same each day. Low temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s, and then upper 80s, low 90s through next week. Again, normal temperatures. Our average high is 89 for this time of the year. Our normal low is 71. Sun up at 6:51. Our sunset at 8:44. Probably noticing day by day, our days are just getting a little bit shorter. Going up to about a 30% chance of a shower storm Tuesday, and then a 40% chance Wednesday. So what's happening with that, the reason why we might have a little better chance of a shower or thunderstorm by the middle of next week is because there's a front that'll come into the upper Midwest. I don't think it'll ever move through our area, so we're not going to get any good relief from that. But it's close enough that we start to pick up more of a southwest breeze. The humidity starts to creep up. And then we've got I would say, a weakness in the ridge. So this weekend, we've got a ridge of high pressure that kind of puts a lid on the atmosphere and doesn't allow storms to really blossom. That ridge breaks down as the front gets closer. That allows us to have a little better chance of some pop-up showers and some thunderstorms. So that's kind of the setup. Again, if you missed it, here's a look at that 7-day forecast. It is not changing much as we get closer to Kentucky State. Fair kind of weather. It's what we're used to. It is still summertime, even though pretty much all the kids are back to school. And again, a live look here at the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. Somebody out on the boat. And then someone walking around the fossil beds. Also, by the way, they have programs here at the Falls of the Ohio. If you're wanting something to do this weekend, they've got tours of the fossil beds where you can learn more about that. And again, if you're just tuning in, there was a little guitar to start with because I was talking about all the events that were happening across the area. And real quick, back to the events as I bring this back up. So this is really cool. New place in New Albany. Sunnyside Vintage Festival tomorrow, Saturday, August 9th, 12 to 6 p.m. Also, let me know if you've got something happening in your county, your town. If there's a festival, drop it in the comments, and we'll help get the word out as well. So this is located like a block or two in front of the New Albany High School. It's a vintage festival, and so it might be vintage clothes, furniture. They've got food out there. Check it out. That is 845 East 15th Street in New Albany, 12 to 6 tomorrow. As I mentioned, Bats baseball all weekend. The Mud Hens, Toledo Mud Hens are in town. And then Saturday at 7 p.m., we got Lou City FC. They've got their match. I'm really wanting to go this year to a match, and I haven't been. Got to get that scheduled to do that. So a warm and dry evening tomorrow evening in the 80s. South wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So just a little bit on the warm side for that. And it is now already 10:24, and it's time to dig into the weather models. So here we go. Incredibly quiet conditions. So active weather over the upper Midwest, northern plains. That's where there is rain. And then there's a little system off of Florida and Georgia, but in between, it is really clear conditions over our area. So let me go ahead and bring up let's just for a quick second, we'll just see if anything pops up on the HRRR high resolution rapid refresh weather model for today. And this is at 4 p.m. It is not showing even a blip on the future radar. This is 6 p.m. Nope. Got nothing. Not even a little pop-up. This is the NAM 3 kilometer, another high-resolution weather model. And it also, this is 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Oh, there was a tiny, if you look real close, So again, we're talking maybe like 5% chance if a cumulus cloud can grow big enough to produce a very, very brief shower, but it is not, we have not had much on the radar the last several days, and we're not going to. So again, that means I might have to drag the hose out and do a little bit of watering, and the yards and the gardens and the farm fields are starting to dry out. John Fox, good morning to you. Happy Friday, sir. So that's it. There's, again, not much rain around the region, most of that up to the north. This is at 8 p.m. today. Pretty loud cicada right there. All right, let's take a look at the longer range weather model data. And if you're ever curious about, hey, maybe you're a storm chaser. I do know some local storm chasers. John Humphreys, Reed Yaden likes to storm chase. So if you're wanting to take a trip to go storm chasing, that's where it's at. Minnesota today, day 1 severe weather risk. Day 2 severe weather risk is up in Wisconsin. No risk of any severe weather anywhere around our area. And then I'd like to check out, as we look at the longer range outlook, how about that? That's a change from the Climate Prediction Center. So you can go to the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, the division of the National Weather Service. They look at the longer range data. And this is the 6 to 10 day outlook. So this shows, so you not only have the orange, the darker orange, the darker orange, and then the red over our area. So this shows a high probability of above normal temperatures past the 7-day forecast. So if we're talking about that, that means we're starting to move into this segment. And on a limb, we're heading to the long range outlook. So if you remember earlier this week, we were trying to look for, when's the next like cool down, and the GFS was trying to show it midweek next week. The European weather model was flirting with that idea, and now it's just not even like showing up. The rest of August is just looking warm/hot. So this is backing up that prediction here through the next couple of weeks. And we can go to as well. Let me pull up the 8 to 14 day outlook. And it also shows above normal chance of above normal temperatures here through the long range outlook. So Climate Prediction Center, if you're wondering about the long range outlook, a couple weeks out, still looks like we're going to be above normal. And that's what the latest GFS was hinting at as well this morning as I was looking at some of that long range data. All right, let's see who's popping in on this Friday. TGIF, by the way. Vicky said, Lillian loves out on a limb. Me too. John Fox, the dog days are here. You got it. The dog days of summer. It is August. And a lot of times we don't get a good front to move through. I mean, last weekend felt good. But a lot of times we won't really get a good like first fall teaser front until September. Lillian Lasley coming in from Litchfield. Thanks for tuning in. Have an awesome weekend. You as well. All right, so that is the Climate Prediction Center. And that's kind of interesting. That's a jump up in I would say, the confidence level of above normal temperatures. And keep in mind, our normal temperature is 89 degrees. And so if you're above normal, you're going to be in the 90s. And that's kind of what we're looking at here through the long range data. And John Fox asking, will this heat make any of the storms bad? Well, the problem is we don't have much of a storm chance. And when you have a lot of heat and humidity, that is one ingredient for strong to severe thunderstorms, but you're missing a big ingredient this time of the year, and that is wind. We don't have wind. So these storms pop up. If we get any storms next week, they would just be tropical in nature, garden variety, some locally heavy rain, some lightning and thunder, but the severe weather chances would be extremely low. So this is definitely not a severe weather season here for us. Okay, let's go back to the weather model data. And real quick as well, Look at there's some tropical activity out in the Pacific. You see those tracks there. And then we were talking about this wave that earlier this week that was coming off Africa. It's now heading towards the central Atlantic. So it is now what we call an invest. It's just a tropical low. It's not a depression yet. It's not a tropical storm. It's not a hurricane, but it's starting to strengthen a bit. So we've got 96 invest. So that is one system out there in the central Atlantic Ocean. So that is your tropical weather update here. And we're going to bring up the GFS weather model. Also, I wouldn't mind checking out. So this is a look at our the current temperatures across the region, but I always want to check out the dew points here. So let me take off the temps and bring up the dew points. So dew points this morning are low 70s. Yeah, it is a bit on the humid side. So these are all the ASOS, the weather observation stations across the United States. You can see there are a bunch of them. They're usually at all the airports. Dew points there in the blue. You go Colorado west, you're into the really refreshing air. Then eastern half of the United States under basically normal August mugginess. And a lot of times these dew points are a little bit higher around our region, the Midwest, in the Ohio Valley, because you got that corn sweat, evapotranspiration, adding to some of the low-level humidity. Now, we look at the longer range data here. And I'm going to bring up the GFS weather model. So if I take this to, well, like Tuesday the 12th, it's showing like isolated stuff might pop up next Tuesday. But again, we're pretty dry through the weekend. And then this is the 13th, next Wednesday, showing a better chance of some spotty showers and thunderstorms around that time. John Fox, you're welcome. Thanks for the question. Guide the weather conversation. Definitely want your input here on Ben at 10. Going to the 14th. So this would be next Thursday. Not much happening there. And then, so we've got maybe a 2-day period where we might see a little better chance of some showers and thunderstorms, that being next Tuesday, Wednesday. This is a look at the comfort cast. So that's humid air, more humid down around the Gulf Coast states. This is all the way through the 14th, so next Thursday, so it stays humid. And Jeanette Pierce, good morning from Litchfield. We've got a couple on here from Litchfield, Kentucky. Sounds like a great August weekend. Yes, indeed. And DM Smith with a good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Going to the longer range, Alex. So yesterday, if you guys are watching, it was around the 19th of August when perhaps we would have a chance of some relief. So that would be like a couple Tuesdays from now, a couple weeks out. So I'm going to go back. Let's go to this here is the 18th of August, and it is pushed off the relief. But also what's interesting with these long range outlooks, may or may not happen, but you see tropical swirls. Tropical swirl, that sounds like an ice cream that you'd get at the Dairy Hut. So some tropical swirls. Tropics are lighting up over the next few weeks as we head towards the peak of the tropical season, which is mid-September. We'll clear that off. All right, so we are in that tropical air. This is through the 18th. Let's push it out farther. It's the 19th, still tropical swirls out in the Atlantic. I just love the view of the precipitable water. It just shows a lot of data. And so the 20th of August. So this will be 2 Wednesdays from now. There will not be a Ben at 10 on the 20th because it is move-in day at IU. On that day, it shows maybe a little bit of relief, but still kind of humid. So this will be a couple Thursdays from now on the 21st. That's crazy. Now, don't get too excited about this. It's probably not going to happen because the GFS likes to do this. But that shows like a hurricane right there. But again, don't get excited if you got a vacation there around the Southeast. Horrible job the GFS does this far out. This is on August the 21st. So, but it shows, I don't know, maybe a tad bit of relief, maybe by late August. This is the 21st. I'll push this out to the very end of it. 378 hours out, August the 23rd. It is showing some relief. Interesting, the weather model out, what the mathematics produce. But who knows? Like I said, the tropics are lighting up. It shows more and more activity. And maybe we'll get a system to watch over the next couple of weeks in the Atlantic. So, yeah, there you go. This is the 23rd. So getting into the last week of August, perhaps around that time, we'll start to get a front to move in and bring in a little bit of relief right there. So then that would give us a late August happy face. JKs, thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for the updates. You are welcome. We are in the middle of the long range outlook here. And that is going to wrap it up for the long range outlook, which is all right. I'm going to stay off the limbs in real life. All right. That is the long range outlook. And we're going to get back to your forecast. We're going to give you the forecast summary again, and then we'll wrap it up on this Friday here at 10:38. Crazy. This one's been going by really quickly. Here live from the back deck. And if you weren't watching earlier in the very beginning, just passing along some information that I learned. Always good to learn something new as a middle-aged person. But this is cicada that I took a picture of on my driveway. Hummingbirds are fighting behind me. There's 3 or 4 of them. So the periodic cicadas, the brood XIV that were around in Kentucky and parts of southern Indiana in May, late spring, and June, they're gone. They've done their reproductive cycle. Their babies are back underground, and they'll be there for 17 years. But we get annual cicadas, and these are called the dog days cicadas, and they are out here now. And so you get your yearly cicadas. That's what we have here. August really is the loudest month as far as bugs. And you got to watch out, too, because the bees and the wasps and the hornets have been busy making their nests and reproducing as well. And they're not too aggressive. But once we get into August, September, now they're protecting their nests, and they get really mean. My dad is allergic, and we were last October sawing wood back here in the woods, and he got lit up by some yellow jackets, and he went down, and we had to take him to the emergency room. So have that EpiPen if you're allergic this time of the year if you're out on that hike. We learned that lesson. All right, so armadillos. So my stepmom Diana sent me a little story about this. I did some digging. And armadillos are closely related to anteaters. I did not know that. But they are making a home in Indiana now. They're pretty shy. You don't see them very often unless it's kind of roadkill, unfortunately. But you can see they're all over southern Indiana and now making their way up to Marion County, Indianapolis, up to even Lafayette, Indiana. up towards Purdue. And so they're what they say, this is from the U.S. Geological Survey. They're colonizing, meaning they are reproducing. They're not just hopping over the river with a little visit like we do with the southern Indiana bear that came across. I think that was back in 2018. They're actually making a home in Indiana now. I don't know if you've ever seen them in real life, uh, but who knows? They might be out there. The 1 meter depth in the soil is still okay in southern Indiana and Kentucky, but I think that's going to start to change. I don't think we're heading to a drought just yet, but it can happen pretty quick because that corn and the soybean just releases that moisture very efficiently when you got that hot August sunshine. So the fields and the yards are going to be drying out. Might have to kick on those sprinklers if you haven't. In northern Indiana, southern Michigan, starting to head into drought status. How many days till? 7:59 sunsets in 30 days. Autumn begins in 47, a month and a half. That's September 22nd. Halloween, 84 days out. Our 5:42 sunsets at 86 days. So our August 8th headlines: normal August heat, mostly dry weather pattern. We got some changes next week where we might get a little better chance of some spotty showers and thunderstorms next Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see that on the 7-day here in just a second. But our play ball forecast, 85 at noon, 90 this afternoon, 83 at 8 p.m. And I've got less than a 10% chance of a pop-up shower today. Most of us are not going to get it. Can almost just leave that rain chance off. Southeast breeze around 5 to 10. UV index very high at 9. And the forecast summary for your August 8th, 90 degrees. Just a little bit hot out there. Southeast wind at 5 to 10. The good thing is the dew points aren't way into the 70s. Like we had in July. So we can cool off a bit in the evening time. So not too bad if you got some Friday night plans out there. We'll talk about some Friday night plans in this weekend here in just a second. Low tonight, 71, just a warm summer night. And the forecast here for tomorrow, 73 if you're up early, 87 at noon, 91 for the afternoon high, 6:52 sunrise, 8:43 sunset, 7-day forecast, upper 80s, low 90s. And going 30-40% chance next Tuesday, Wednesday. So this weekend, Saturday, Sunnyside Vintage Festival, 845 East 15th Street, New Albany. That's at the District. That is a new vintage mall that's going in there. So check it out. New things happening in New Albany, 12 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then Bats have a home stand with Toledo Mud Hens. So Slugger Field, you got Bats baseball all weekend. And then tomorrow evening, it's going to be a good one in the 80s, warm and dry, south wind 5 to 10, Saturday 7 p.m. Lou City FC has their match. So that is what's happening across the area. And speaking of some things happening in music, there are a lot of shows happening. That's why our area is the coolest. We like to have a good time here in Kentuckiana. So there are shows this weekend. Tonight, it's the Rumors at the Doghouse Beer Garden in New Albany. And then up here on the hill in Starlight, it's the Remainders Band. They are playing at Huber's Orchard and Winery. And at the Mercury Ballroom tomorrow evening is, if you're into the grunge, and if this started the grunge, Nirvana. They've got a cover band that's going to be doing grunge at the Mercury Ballroom in downtown Louisville. So there's a lot happening across the area. Hope you guys have a good weekend. deck, no singing, not good at it. But thank you guys for tuning in here. We have Beverly Haggison going to the Indiana State Fair Wednesday for a ceremony. First brother-in-law for Farmer of the Year. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome. And JK's with the claps. Thank you very much. And DM Smith, love the guitar. Have a great weekend. So, again, lots happening. Hopefully you can get out and enjoy. Again, not a heat wave, just kind of normal August heat around the area. Hope you enjoyed the show this morning. I learned something new this morning. Hope you did too. As always, you can find us online. Let me give a shout out here to our page right here, extolmag.com/weather. We've got our live show up there each morning, and then we've got a lot of weather resources across the area, your interactive radar, which has the current temperatures and the winds. Obviously, not much happening across our entire region as far as rainfall. That is way off to the north of us. Last live look outside here at the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. They have tours if you want to do something out in nature. You can take a look at different periods of fossils there. They've got guided tours if you want to check that out. And Lillian, maybe someday I need a lesson. If you know somebody that's good at singing lessons, that might be something I do one day, but I'm not that good at the singing. Anita Meredith, good morning to you. Lions Roofing, here's our partners. We are here because of them, and of course, we're more here because you are here. So I want to thank our partners, lionsroofingco.com out of Memphis, Indiana. But they're covering Southern Indiana and Kentucky, commercial and residential, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. 812-294-3595. Give them a shout. You can also get a free estimate here online. And also Michael Long Insurance Agency, American Family Insurance. He's with American Family, amfam.com, and then just search Michael Long if you want to get a quote. Tell him I sent you. And 812-578-3072. Proud to be an American Star certified agency. Excellence in customer experience. And there's 163 reviews. He's been at it a long time. 5-star reviews all over the place here. So check them out. Also, a lot of job postings at libspaving.com. And so if you want an opportunity, you can see there's superintendent, project managers, and you just click on the learn more. You're going to learn about the benefits and what they all have to offer. Family-owned company out of Floyd's Knobs. They do huge jobs all across the area. And that is where you can apply for that job online. And we went to Ivy Tech Sellersburg campus yesterday, and you go to locations, you click on Sellersburg, and you're going to learn a whole lot more about what they have to offer you. And really, it is kind of the easiest way to get into your post-secondary education. And they are partnering with military families. They've got a new program out there with the U.S. Army and the Indiana National Guard to prepare you to be enlisted and learn more about that. I've got a bee right in front of my face, a bumblebee. He was just checking me out. We're all good. All right, so take a look at the Sellersburg campus here and get started. They can help you out with tuition and aid and admissions, filling out the FAFSA paperwork. They've got the administration out there and faculty that is super friendly and helpful, and don't be shy about it. And you can click on the Ivy Experience there, and you're going to get a lot more information there about Ivy Tech. They can help you level you up in a lot of different career choices. So take a look there. I've never been stung by a bumblebee, but he seems a little mad. I've been stung by a lot of bees, but bumblebees are usually pretty nice. But I seem to be bothering him. All right. I'm going to let him get on these flowers over here, and I'll get out of here. All right. We'll leave it at that. D.M. Smith, the last comment this morning. Nice. Love the guitar. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, whether it's on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, or on the Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking or subscribing there. Extol Weather on Facebook and extolmag.com/weather. I still get the question. That is the correct spelling, Peine, of the last name. That was the name given to me at birth. So thanks for going to my page for the like or the subscribe. All right, you guys have a great weekend. TGIF, have a great Friday. We will see you Monday. It's Extol Unfiltered at 9 a.m. with Angie Fenton and myself. It's your conversation. And then your weather conversations right at that 10 a.m., then at 10 Monday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you then.